questions you should be able to answer by the end of this lesson. Number 1, what causes convection currents in and around our Earth? Number 2, what is a land breeze and why does it happen? And number 3, what is a sea breeze and why does it happen? So before we begin, we need to review density for a second. Remember that density is the amount of matter in a given amount of space. The formula is mass divided by volume. Basically, the higher the number of atoms or molecules crammed into a given area, the higher that area's density. Think about the rainbow density activity you did in 6th grade. The least dense salt water, meaning the water with the least amount of added salt molecules, would sit on top. Now, if you've never got the chance to do this activity, just type in rainbow density activity into your browser and a million different labs will pop up for you to try. So how does this relate to the Earth? Let's think back to the layers of the Earth and convection currents. Convection currents are driven by the uneven heating of molecules within a certain area. Let's review what that looks like. Heat energy from the Earth's core transfers to the surrounding molecules, making them move faster and spread out. This causes the area closest to the heat source to become less dense than the molecules around it, so those molecules begin to rise. This leaves a gap where the colder, more dense molecules rush in to fill. But guess what? Now they are by the heat source, so what do? That's right, heat up, spread out, and start to rise. Meanwhile, the heated molecules at the top are not near the heat source anymore, so they start to cool down, come together, and now that they are more dense, they begin to sink, and the whole cycle begins again. This process not only happens inside the Earth, it happens in our oceans and atmosphere as well. And a great example of this is at the beach. Have you ever stood on the beach and had the salty wind help to keep your hair out of your eyes? That's because there's a convection current that is constantly flowing during the day. Also, her feet are probably burning right now, which is exactly why this convection current happens. During the day, the sun's rays heat up the Earth's surface. And if you've ever been to a beach, you know the sun heats up the sand much faster than it heats up the ocean, and the hot sand then transfers its heat to the air molecules above, causing them to become less dense and rise. Since the ocean doesn't heat up as fast as the land, there is more dense, cooler air over the ocean that rushes in to fill the space. That's why you will always get a breeze coming towards you from the ocean at the beach during the day. We call this a sea breeze, and it occurs when you can actually see. Now, the opposite is true at nighttime. Once the sun has gone down, the sand cools off quickly, but the water stays warm. So now the air over the water is heated more and becomes less dense. So it starts to rise, and the cooler, denser air from the land rushes out to sea to fill that void. That's why it feels like Jaws is pulling you in when you go to the beach at night. Here's where you can find all of the answers to the questions at the beginning of the video, and that'll do it. See you soon.